So, Gloels, welcome back to the fourth episode of my Pretty AF series. So, today we're going to talk about the weight loss, the supplement, the hormone replacement, the peptide products that I use in order to stay pretty AF at 48. So, if you're interested in learning more, keep watching. With all my videos, let me preface this by saying I'm not a doctor. I am not a weight loss expert. I'm not a physical therapist or anything like that. These are the things that I've been doing in order to stay pretty AF, to feel my best, to, I feel, look my best, and to also have the energy that I need in order to get through my days. So, first of all, I want to preface this with a story. Imagine you are 45 years old and you're used to being able to work out, spend time with your friends, spend time with your husbands. You're able to live your life at the best level when you are expected to show up, right? The way you're expected to show up. And then it's like one day it's hard to get out of bed. One day you wake up and you don't want to wake up. You literally want to go back to sleep and sleep all day. There's one day where you realize, wow, I was cold, so I turned the fireplace on. Then I got hot and I turned the AC and the fan on. Let me tell you, perimenopause had me in a chokehold. And Perry, she was winning. She was winning. I had no energy. I was extremely moody. I was not a nice person to be around. I was gaining more weight when I was in the efforts of losing weight, and my sex drive was low. So I wasn't winning at all. And so about 2 years ago, I started experimenting with hormone replacement therapy. And so, one of the things that I would just like to share as I go through the details of what I've been doing is that you need to get your blood work done, but you also want to consider going to a non traditional doctor. Consider going to someone that is a health practitioner outside of the normal insurance, big kind of corporate standard medical institution, if you will. So, an alternative medicine doctor or functional doctor might be your best route. And I say that because not because traditional doctors aren't great at what they do, but when it comes to hormones and your thyroid and the different types of things that you may need that may not show up in your blood work, but your body and your symptoms are telling you that, I find that traditional Western medicine doesn't necessarily have a lot of allowances for that. So, I love my doctors, and I have a couple, but I love my doctors because all of them care more about the symptoms I'm experiencing, how I'm feeling, versus what the labs and what my age and what some of the other more technical things are saying. So I feel like that was key to me optimizing my health, was not just looking to traditional Western medicine. So let me get into some of the details around what helped me. And once again, this is what worked for me. I highly encourage you to find a team of doctors or health specialists that can learn your body, that you can work with, that will help you and tailor this to you. Okay. So first, let's talk about the hormone replacement therapy. Due to me not being able to sleep well, having the hot flashes, honestly, even the cold flashes, if that's a thing, but I was experiencing them. And the fact that I do have a hypothyroidism disease, I needed to be very strategic in the hormones that I added to my thyroid medicine. But also, I wanted to make sure that these were things that were going to help me long term, right? Not just a short fix. Because if you look at some of my other videos and some of my other shorts, I'm not about just like feeling better right this second or looking better right this second. I really am looking at the long term of my health and my mobility and how I'm going to be living 20, 30 years from now, right? And so for me, it was very important that I didn't overdo the hormones, but I slowly scaled up on them, and I did just enough in order to feel better, and enough to give me my energy back so that I could go back to my workouts and I can go back to being able to have the focus I need for my day-to-day job. So I started out first on the estradiol patch along with progesterone. You never want to pair, if you have ovaries, they say, if you still have your woman parts, if you will, you definitely want to pair progesterone with the estradiol or estrogen. But I started out with the patch, and I started out with the progesterone, which I take at night. And so I've slowly scaled up the prescription of the patch. So I think I'm on like 0.075 now, which I replace twice a week. Now, the progesterone is interesting. One of the things that I also suffered from early on were like really heavy periods, and which was another sign of perimenopause and your body just going through this just dramatic change. So I've been playing around with progesterone. And so instead of taking 100 milligrams every night throughout the month, I take 200 the first 12 days of the month to kind of help with managing some of the bloat in the period. But I still sleep really well. Um, so another thing, going back to, I'm married, so this whole sex drive thing and ability to still want that is super important to me. And so I do also supplement with estrogen inserts. And so they have really helped with the thinning and the dryness that women will typically experience when they're going through perimenopause. And so that has been a game changer for me, and just the comfort that I have when I am doing grown folk stuff. So those are the hormones from a hormone replacement therapy for perimenopause that I'm on. Like I said earlier, I do have hypothyroidism, so I do take a synthetic thyroid medicine every day, first thing in the morning before I drink any coffee or take any of my other supplements. So those are sort of like the supplements or the additional hormone things that I take. Now, I do take peptides. So one of the things that I have been doing for probably the last year and a half is I have been supplementing with a tirzepatide. They're considered a GLP-1, but technically they're a peptide. They're something that your body creates naturally, sort of like vitamin D or B12 or some of the other things that your body produces, but my body just doesn't produce enough of them. So I am on a tirzepatide compound. I was taking a brand name tirzepatide, but with insurance changes and really the cost wasn't that different from the compounded. And I wanted to try the compounded because you can supplement other vitamins and other boosters in the compounded instead of having to take them like in a different form, like orally or through a pill. So I opted to go the compounded route this year, and I'm so glad I did. I feel like the compounded tirzepatide is definitely way more effective for helping me with the inflammation that I need the tirzepatide to help with. And since I also am able to supplement the tirzepatide with B12, it gives me a bit more of an energy boost as well. So for me, that's super important because I work out, I move my body every day, and I work out as far as lifting weights 2 to 3 times a week. At least I have been recently. I hurt my back, but that's a whole nother side story. So anyway, so I do take a tirzepatide. And so once again, when I talk about having like a medical team, it's super important. So I have my main doctor for my hormone replacement therapy. I have my endocrinologist slash functional doctor for my thyroid, but I also have my Mochi Health doctor for my tirzepatide and the compounds that I want to try or that will help optimize my inflammation and also help with some of the weight loss. Now, I'm going to tell you, I will leave the Mochi link below. If you click on it or you use that code, you can save, I think, like $40 or $50 off. Highly recommend Mochi. I mean, there's so many GLP-1 peptide businesses and companies out there. I like Mochi because the doctors are quality. You have a nutritionist already kind of as part of your benefit with the subscription, although I have to say they can be hard to book with. They book out pretty far in advance. But, the goal is to follow a high protein and not too high in the carb, but really natural food diet, which is what I do. But I like Mochi because of the flexibility. I can talk to my doctor every single day of the week if I wanted to. So I like having that level of access. So I will share that. But like I was saying, for me, I prefer the compounded tirzepatide over the brand name because you can augment with different additional peptides or vitamins or minerals. And I've actually released a lot more weight on the compounded tirzepatide from Mochi as compared to the brand name. I'm not sure why. And honestly, I've never been like like trying to say, oh my gosh, I got to lose 50 pounds in 50 days. I'm a very slow loser. I can tell you, I've been doing some form of peptide like this over the last year and a half, almost 2 years, like I said. And I've only lost 30 pounds, guys. Well, 35. And I'm happy with that. Like, if I never even lost another pound right now, I'd be so thrilled. I'd be okay with that. But that's just some information around mochi. And this is obviously, this isn't sponsored, but I do highly recommend them because I am a paid active user. So those are the peptides. So like I said, I take other supplements, right? So I like mochi because I can add supplements to my tirzepatide, but I also take additional supplements because of my hypothyroidism, because of the age I am, and because of the active lifestyle that I live. So a couple of things that I take are going to be zinc and selenium for my thyroid. I take magnesium every night. It's the one that has like 6 different kinds in it because it also helps the progesterone to help me sleep. I obviously take a multivitamin. Let's see. I take so many supplements. I take a vitamin D with K, and I also take fiber gummies to help kind of keep things moving. And I mean, I think that's actually it. I say I take a lot, but I think that's about most of the supplements. Oh, I take an iron supplement. There's this one called Blood Builders that I've been taking for years. I've been taking it probably since my daughters were born, and it has multiple forms of iron in it. You only take one pill, and it doesn't like constipate you and make you feel weird, but it does help with that energy and that circulation, especially if you happen to be anemic. I'm not anemic, but I can get anemic if I'm not on top of my iron supplements. So those are the few things I wanted to highlight there. So for my diet, like I said earlier, when you're taking a peptide, you want to make sure, and really, I think for women over the age of 40, you need to maintain as much muscle mass as you can. So obviously, you need protein to keep that muscle mass intact or to add muscle mass if you're actively lifting heavy weights. And so for me, it was really important to make sure that I'm getting at least 100 grams of protein a day. I normally shoot for about 115. I make sure that I keep my carbs moderate. I am not on a low carb keto diet. I like sourdough bread. I like fruit. I like things that don't tend to be very low carb. And so because this is a lifestyle and not some crash diet to get to some body or state in the next, week or month, I'm just focusing on eating whole foods, foods that actually expire, if that makes sense, and not necessarily are shelf stable for years or months. And so for me, it's really important to get that protein in and eat as many whole foods as possible. Do I like eat some processed stuff every now and then? Obviously, I do. In fact, a couple of my supplements, some people would say are processed, right? But in order to get the 100 grams of protein a day, there are a couple of things that I do. And I feel good about the ingredients in these products, which is the only reason I'm sharing them. There have been other products in the past that I've taken that have been effective, right? As far as helping with the protein and the electrolytes and the hydration. But when you look at them and they don't feel clean. So I'm going to share with you really briefly a couple of the products that I use. So the first thing that I use is a collagen, and I've mentioned this before in some other videos. I use the Vital Proteins collagen peptides. So 4 tablespoons of this, either in my coffee or my smoothie most mornings of the week, or would help me get an additional, I want to say about 20 grams of protein, 18 grams of protein. So I highly recommend that. And I've tried so many other proteins. And like I said, there's some other good ones out there, but I keep coming back to that one because it's solid. It gives me the results I need, and I can find it anywhere. The second thing that I use in order to get more protein and to meet that 100 to 115 gram of protein goal are some supplements. Typically, they tend to be like more clear proteins. I do have an all natural protein powder that is just okay. I wouldn't recommend it, but I got the big bag and I'm going to use it up. It's just okay. But there are some really good clear protein products that I do use, and I will sip on these throughout the day. Or if I'm not making a smoothie that day, this will be like my additional source of additional protein. So I like this one from Seek. They have lots of different flavors. This is the strawberry lemonade. It gives you 22 grams of protein for just 100 calories. And so I do use this probably 3-4 times a week. And then another clear protein that I like that also has electrolytes in it is Array. I'm sure y'all have seen this over everybody's Instagram and YouTube feed. It's extremely popular. In fact, it's so popular that I went to go reorder some 2 days ago and it's out of stock on Amazon. So I guess I could go to the Array website, which I might do if I can't find it on Amazon in a week or so. But this is my last pack. But it's that good. I love the flavor. It's the raspberry yuzu flavor. You get 15 grams of protein for 70 calories. And like I said, this isn't only protein, it also has electrolytes in it. So when you're on peptides and when you're on a lot of HRT and vitamins, being hydrated, staying hydrated, is critical, especially when you're on something that's helping with the inflammation reduction, like peptides and terzepatide does. You really want to make sure that you're supplementing that with electrolytes. And speaking of electrolytes, the other electrolyte that I use, which quite honestly, I mean, I guess it does have like a lot of ingredients in it, so it's probably not the cleanest, but I love the taste and I like the fact that there's 0 calories. It's this Ultima Replenisher. It has 6 essential electrolytes in it, 0 sugar, 0 calories. And listen, these taste good. Like this is probably my 4th bag over the last couple years. You get like 20 to 25 in a bag, but I like the flavors. This is like watermelon. You've got pink lemonade, blue raspberry, passion fruit. They also have one on Amazon that's like cocktails, like cosmopolitan and margarita. And you know, if you drink, which I do drink on occasion, if you drink, you mix one of those up with a little bit of your adult beverage of choice, you get like a really good cocktail that you could sort of feel good about since you're hydrating while you're dehydrating with the alcohol. I don't know. I'm gonna try to make that work. So anyway, those are just some of the supplements that I use in order to meet my protein and my electrolyte goals. And so lastly, I'm gonna touch on fitness before I wrap this up. So I've said in the past, in some of my other videos and shorts, that I work out 30 minutes a day minimum. And that's typically going to be a walk, maybe something on the elliptical, or if I'm at the gym, the Stairmaster. But 30 minutes of movement every day is my non-negotiable. And I'm not trying to run. It's not my thing. But I just know if I can commit to 30 minutes a day, I feel good about it. I feel really good about myself. I feel good about what I've accomplished, and I feel like I'm really showing up for myself. So 30 minutes a day minimum of some sort of activity. Also, I'll say I know it's important to strength train. And so when I am active in the gym, because I'm not dealing with back issues, I try to do 2 to 3 days of upper body and core work. I don't typically work my legs because I find a lot of the leg exercises I like to do tend to engage my back a little bit too much. So I'm very, very cautious about that. But I do make sure that I'm lifting heavy when I am strength training. And so doing that 2 to 3 times a day, 2 to 3 times a week is super important. And then I will also say that stretching is really important. This adds to your mobility. This adds to you being able to stay limber and just stay not walking and hunching over like someone that's, 80 years old. Not that there's anything wrong with being 80, but you see what I'm saying, right? You don't want to look like you're like skeletally not able to support the rest of your body. You really want to be able to carry yourself in an upright, more prominent position. So you want to make sure you're stretching. So I stretch every morning, typically in bed before my feet even hit the ground. But super important for me to be able to do that because, like I said, I do have back issues. But with that said, this is my 48-year-old pretty AF weight loss supplement HRDT diet fitness routine. Let me know if you might be interested in what I eat in a day, or even samples of my upper body 2 to 3 times a week workout plan, which is really super simple. So I'm not even sure it'd be worthy of a video. But just let me know if there's something else that you would be interested in knowing from what I've shared, and I'd be more than happy to expand. So let me know in the comments. But in the meantime, I will be sure to link Mochi, and I will be sure to link some of the protein and collagen supplements that I use to help me with my protein goals and my hydration goals. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching if you stayed to the end, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.